where we transcend and go beyond the subconscious. Welcome to Elevated Wisdom, where we transcend and go beyond the subconscious. Welcome to Elevated Wisdom, where we transcend and go beyond the subconscious. Welcome to Elevated Wisdom, where we transcend and go beyond the subconscious.
We live, we lit, we here, everybody, we here. Let's see. Yes, we got the PC
Yeah, we live, man.
loading.
I can see everything.
Okay, cool. Welcome everybody. We got a new episode of Healthy Conversations with your boy Ink and Ahmad Jermaine. How you doing, Ahmad?
I'm good. Yourself?
Doing amazing, doing amazing. I want to thank Baby Angel NCR coming in right away, chatting it up. We had Snippet in the house, so everybody knows we live on the purple, the green, the blue, the red. That means all the platforms. Today, we get another example of what healthy conversations look like and healthy topics. There's plenty of negative conversations out there. There's enough exposing and all this craziness out there. Here, you're going to find conversations about love, support, understanding, acknowledgement, acceptance. You know, the things that most people have a hard time having conversations about or just find it weird for some reason. Um, yeah, what do you think about that, Jermaine?
No, I definitely hear you. And what I wanted to kind of discuss today was a quote that I saw yesterday. I'm trying to find it right now.
Okay.
It really meant something to me. So the quote is from Ram Dass. For anybody that doesn't know, he's passed away now, but he was a spiritual teacher, author. I went to India and did a lot of things, and then kind of came back to the States and did his thing. But basically, the quote here is, "I can do nothing for you but work on myself." you can do nothing for me but work on yourself.
Mm.
And the reason that one's so powerful to me is because it is absolutely true. The world that I am in, the world that exists around me, how I view the world, how I interact, all is based off of me,
Mm-hmm.
my perception, my emotions, my reactions, my thoughts, all of it. And it's amazing that he says that because we always want people to change. We always want someone to understand us, but we never take time to understand them.
Mm.
We want people to believe we're right, but we never want to hear someone else to see if they're right. So that one hit me. I mean, hit me right here, man, because it is something that is so simple, but yet none of us. Well, I don't want to say none of us, but a lot of us struggle to comprehend what he's even saying.
Mm.
You know, so with that, I just want to like, what did you get from that quote? Like, how did you take it, or
Yeah. Well, first, I want to thank you for taking the time and acknowledgement and realizing how we speak is a lot of power in that. And so, you corrected yourself, and when we're including being a totality of things, like everybody doesn't do this, or nobody, and that totality, and you caught yourself on that, and you were able to, like, well, at least some people that I know that have experienced and whatnot, and that's more realistic when we're sharing opinions, not having the totality of things, right? It leaves a room for,
yeah,
hey, my point of view matters as well. It isn't right or wrong, black or white, and so that I want to do a shed light on that, and I appreciate that. As far as your question goes, it hit me hard because my most of my life I looked to helping people, right, and ignored my needs because I was taught that being selfless and being kind and being all these wonderful things meant doing for everybody else in my life. It never once did somebody pause and say, hey, take care of you first so you can take care of everybody else. How are you doing before you ask how's everybody else doing? The first person to ask who how are you doing should be ourselves. And so that quote is I agree with 100%. Most people get in their feelings about such and such didn't do this or not showing up to for me this way, and all these fakes and all these snakes and all these this and all these that. And it's like, well, let's pause for a second. What are we doing for ourselves? How are we showing up to the world? And you know what I'm saying? Because if I'm hanging out in the snake pits, of course I'm only gonna find snakes. And that really plays along with the quote you just said, because if I'm not taking care of myself, I am going to find myself in places, in situations that are not healthy for me. Therefore, I can't be healthy to the world. And it took 40 some years for me to truly understand the meaning of that. And it hasn't been until now that I've taken the responsibility and courage to, I can hear myself, by the way, on from your screen, to take the courage to say to myself, okay, what do I need? What is the life that I want to experience? And doing that had to take I had to realize that a lot of people's feelings had to get hurt because I had basically created a life where everybody came first, and that was everybody's expectations. And when I changed that, people felt betrayed. People felt like I I wasn't showing up for them anymore, when in reality I just needed time for myself because I gave everything I had. And so, healing, as great as it is, you lose a lot of things that you thought were important in your life, like people, things, materialistic things, relationships, all sorts of different things. But yeah, man, it definitely hits home. That's kind of my 2 cents.
Well, no, I mean, I really appreciate you sharing it because, like we always discuss, there's no right or wrong answer.
Mm,
You know, it's how you see it. But it was very impactful because it was direct and to the point and very simple. If you want to change your reality, you have to change your insides. You know, how you feel about yourself, how you see the world, how you interact with people. Um, and everything truly does start with us, you know. And you brought that up because a lot of people, including myself, before to get me to this point, I had to go through a lot of stuff, and I did become a victim.
mm,
And that's why I can say this, including me. It was everybody else's problem. It wasn't mine, you know. Although I did see wrong in some of the things, but I only did it because that person did it. You know what I'm saying? It was never, nah, you did it because you wanted to. You know what I'm saying? You chose to make that decision and you took it upon yourself to do those things.
mm.
Um, so yeah, it's one of those ones that like the quote hit me in the throat, man. You know, just because it's again for me it was just it made so much sense and it was so simple because we want everybody to change, but we never want to do the work to change ourselves. And it's like, but you have to change. And you can't worry about if the next person or the other person is willing to change or not. That's not your problem. You have nothing to do with that. The only thing you have to do is be concerned and worried about the change that you're making for yourself. That's it. Everything else is irrelevant. You
True.
know, you control what you could control. If someone else changes, that's on them and the journey that they decide that they want to go on. Like there's nothing you can't force someone to be someone else. You can't tell someone to be. You know what I'm saying? It's
Mm,
just it's you can't do those things. So um, and it's funny because I remember what was it like October, and when we started talking about trying to go on the journey of what we wanted to do and what we wanted to put together, the platforms and the different scenarios, and we sat in the living room, remember?
mm.
And it had to be maybe 3 hours, but for a good 45 minutes. We basically were going back and forth of our point of views, even though they were the same, they just sounded different.
Yeah.
And we were we were trying to, no, but you don't understand. It needs to be like this. Oh no, it needs to be like that. And it wasn't until we both kind of stood back and really were vulnerable to say true honesty of I only was doing this because I thought I was disappointing you. I only was did this because I didn't want to let you down. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
And then once the honesty came out, it was easy to be like, okay. So basically, we were both trying to make a point because we didn't want to upset or disappoint the other person instead of just saying, hey man, this is what it is. I'm not trying to upset you. Like, this is my the way I see it. I get how you're gonna see it. It's okay if you do. Totally understand. What's your viewpoint? How is it? What are we gonna do?
mm.
And so for me, that was one of the conversations, honestly, that helped me change. That put me on the path that I'm on right now. Honestly, that was probably one of those conversations for me.
Yeah.
because I no longer was like worried of trying to make someone happy or trying not to upset someone.
Mm.
I was just being honest as I could because that's all I had left.
Yeah.
You
I,
know, at the end of the day, that's all I can do is just be honest and authentic. Like I don't there's
that
no false pretenses. I don't
yeah.
have to pretend to be someone else. I don't want to be someone else. You know, like one of the quotes, I just want to be. You know what I'm saying? I just want to exist within my existence.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't want to be a dancing monkey. I don't want to be a sock puppet. I don't want to, be a sometime person. I genuinely want to be me. And um, if you're cool with it, great. If you're not, it's okay.
Mm.
But now I realize if you're not cool with it, that is your issue and your problem, and it has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
And I understand that, a lot of times, but at least for me, a lot of the people I didn't like initially is because either I saw something I didn't like in myself in them.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
I saw something. I was like, oh, he irks me. Well, he irks you because either he or she had qualities that I didn't display that I had, but I was too afraid to display, or there was something about them that I don't like about myself.
Mm.
And and now I can sit back and see that, and then I can kind of talk myself through it. Like, why are you getting frustrated with that? Oh, this is why, because this quality or this person had, like today, I was watching something, and then another video came on, and this guy was, doing a motivational speech. He was talking and getting into it, and at first I was like, I don't like this motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
But I realized why. It wasn't who he was. It wasn't how he was talking. It's the fact that he's standing up there, speaking in front of people, making points, and he's not afraid to.
Mm.
That's what I realized.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's
I
doing
can
something
relate to
that
that.
I've been afraid to do. So automatically I'm jealous or upset because I know that should be me, but for fears or whatever the reason is, I'm not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So I caught myself at that point. Was like, you know what? I don't. I'm actually proud for that person, and I watched more of it just to see the confidence that that person had and how much they believed in themselves and what they were talking.
Mm.
Because instead of me being upset, maybe I can learn something.
Yeah.
Maybe I could be grateful
Mm.
that he's actually showing me something that I can improve on and work on. And in time, he will be me because that is already me because we are all a replication or a mirror of each other,
Mm.
you know?
I can relate with a lot of what you said, man. Is self awareness is it can be a beautiful sun. And what I mean by this is the sun can provide light, shine, everything we need, but too much can weather you down, can really test your limits, And so with the more self awareness and things, the more you are overcome with just thoughts of life, of the things around you. You actually become more aware of your environment, of the layers of environment, right? We have our immediate bubble, though the ones that have immediate contact to me, physical and everything contact. We have those the next bubble that are the acquaintances and friends that need to call or email to get a hold of me. Then there's the bubble that I literally have to go out and engage for them to engage with me. And then there's those that have no even idea that I exist. and everything is interconnected to that. And the more I become self-aware, the more I realize how things are all, like you said, the same, right? In quantum entanglement and all these different conversations that can lead to very different um, different paths. In the end, the structure, the fundamentals are all the same because we're all the same thing. And so, it's a beautiful thing, and it's also a tough thing because it's something that you can only have a conversation with a select few people that can be in the same wavelength to have this type of conversations without being a argument of wrong and right, because in perception there is no wrong or right. It is just that your perception. And so with that, there's so many other things that we can go into. But another thing that I really find important is the idea of being without the need, right? The need to be right, the need to engage, the need to respond, the need. There is such a beautiful tranquility, peace, harmony when I am able to just be. And whether that's, you know, being healing towards myself, being assistive to somebody else, or simply just observing. And I've always felt the need to engage in life. Oh, somebody needs help. Let me be the first one to help. So, you know what I mean? Let me be the hero, the this, the that. Like always having to feel the need to do because others are doing. And
I,
as I get
I don't.
older, uh huh.
I didn't want to cut you off, but I just have a question. Like
You
you
did want
said,
to cut me off, and that was the question. But go ahead.
the need, the need to help.
Uh huh.
Do you felt that was because there was um, like an insecurity in yourself?
Um, yeah, I think it developed into that. That is definitely something that I like to refer to as learned behavior um, of this insecurities, right? Like insecurities for me only began or manifested in my life when I had another conversation with another person, and we've had the conversation, the thought came out, and I took it and created an insecurity out of me. What I mean by this is, let's say you and I have a conversation, and we're having a conversation, and I never thought about the difference between having a beer belly versus abs. And now that I have this conversation with you, and we're going to Brazil, and you're in the plane, and you're telling me, well, girls really like abs, and abs is the thing, and if you don't have abs, then you're not gonna get any girls out there, and it's just this and that, and if the whole point of the trip was to get girls, now my mind is on that. And because I don't have this idea of what I heard or imagined because of what I was told, I now feel less than what I felt simply because of a conversation, a thought that created a feeling in my brain and now created this reality. And all of a sudden, now I see a disgusting belly with this on the stretch marks and that. And so that's what I meant by a learned behavior, where it takes for me to involve myself with people with insecurities to understand what an insecurity is in the first place, and then develop my own insecurities based on what I think the world expects from me. And in that turn, yes, part of it eventually was because of that insecurities. As I continued to grow, the insecurities I had growing up in a third world country were completely different than the insecurities I developed here in the United States, in the world of dreams and the American dream and all this wonderful things that we call this beautiful place. What came with it was some real dark things that nobody really likes to talk about either, and yeah, my worries in that place were more in the natural and sustainable, very basic needs, and here is such a superficial. I can't even begin to put it into words. The change in inadequacy when I came here, right? Is like the idea of providing isn't here. It's what you can show, and now show you can't even tell what's real and fake, and so now it's such a disturbed and misunderstood perspectives out there that it makes it. But anyways, I am rambling on, so I'm going to stop there and return it back to the question. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, I was kind of. I was more like, 'cause I know sometimes people will be over nice
Mm-hmm.
or really helpful because they don't feel adequate. They want to be befriended. They want someone to take a notice to them.
Mm-hmm.
So they do a little more, they'll be the first one to help. They want, just some people it's just their nature. Like they're just that way. That's why I was just asking, I was just curious. Was it because you felt you'd be liked more or you'd be accepted more for who you are or
not
you know how
not
it is.
until I came here into the United States, and that's why I ended it there, because when I was very young before I came to the US, the reason why I was nice or kind or helpful, it was because it was in my nature. There was no real reward out there other than
Yeah.
being kind, right?
Well,
Then
that's just being a good human,
exact. It was just the thing to do. Like there was
Yeah.
no the people that you were surrounded with. Like I grew up in the mountains, and I grew up in a very small community around a beautiful huge lake, but mostly volcanoes, active volcanoes, and in that sense, people, we as kids, we would go in a group and go actual fruit picking to survive. Like that was the life. And then I came here, and you know that was not a thing. The thing was
There was
enslaving to ourselves to this job.
Nikes and polos and
Exactly, right. Cars, and what glasses are you wearing, and what watch are you, and that brought
yeah,
in us insecurity. Like, oh my gosh, I need to have all these things to be cool. I need to know
yeah.
how to, like a lot of the sports scared me when I first played, but I felt the need. Dodgeball, I hated dodgeball so much, but everybody played it, and I had to include myself to get myself out there. And man, it was such a rough, and I pretended like I liked it and ha ha ha, but man, my heart would fucking race race as soon as they started picking, because you know what I'm saying. Yeah, it was not fun. But yeah, I think and then also realizing, I think my first taste of quote unquote, or 15 seconds of fame, if you want to call that, when the Washington Post here had a huge story on me because I didn't speak English and we needed assistance, and they established the English speaking other languages program. And so with that, I saw what came from having people's attention and that that infatuation with who you are,
Golden
what you're
boy.
about, and all that, right? That yeah, exactly. That was very addicting. That I think really only truly comes from here. All countries have their own stardom and movie lights, but it's only here in America when at least when you're coming from a different country is like in America all of that is possible, right? In other countries it's such a like crazy coincidence that you get chosen to be or you have to be XYZ to be up there and then you become a movie star. Not in the US. Or you can be anybody in the US and you can become a billionaire, and that's the American dream, right? You can strike gold, but they don't tell you about everything else. And even then, it's still better than some other places, which is crazy. That's a whole other
Yeah,
conversation.
that's when you really your ego got to working, huh?
Most definitely. Most definitely. Out of control, if I would say. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
But yeah, yeah.
and
What
it's
about you?
funny because once the ego starts working, you now formulate based off experiences what you want to be and what people tell you, the version of yourself that you think you need to be.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So now you're playing this character
Mm-hmm.
just to keep up appearances, and all the while you hate it.
Yeah.
I mean, I was, everybody used to be like, "Oh man, you got to get all the girls. You need to do this, and so then you say, okay, well, let me try it. Let me do this. And then next thing you know, you're doing it. But all the while you're taking on this new persona, you're diminishing yourself.
Yeah.
And what I didn't realize, I was killing my spirit, man.
Mm.
Being someone else, trying to do all these things to please everyone else. It was killing me inside.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It literally was taking a toll on me because I was miserable because I just wasn't doing the things that I needed for me. And when I say that, it's having these conversations. I'm interested in spiritual things, like aliens, all this stuff. People go, "Oh, you a nerd." Oh, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. But now I would embrace it, because I understand this is part of me. I love history.
Yeah.
I fucking hate clubs. I can't stand the shit
Mm.
because the environment is just it's everybody's a fraud. It's fake in there for the most part.
Yeah,
At least
man.
for my opinion and my perspective, what I've went through.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and everybody's playing the game, but it's a pointless game
Mm.
because it's not to connect, it's not to understand, it's not to know, and it's not to betterment of each other.
Yeah.
It's just to take and satisfy my own crying soul.
Mm.
It's to just make myself and ego feel better about where I am, even if I'm shitting on someone else. And for me now realizing those things, it's not that I don't like having a good time. I went out there and did my thing every now and then, but overall for me, um, I guess kind of how you were with dodgeball. I would go because I didn't want to be left by myself
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to feel, like I belonged too. But every time I went and did it, I was miserable because it wasn't an environment that I was ever comfortable in. It wasn't somewhere I really wanted to be. And so I completely
Mm.
understand how we can put ourselves in situations knowing that isn't the best situation, just so we don't have to. I know for me, I did it so I didn't have to be alone to confront what I already was running from.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I knew I wasn't doing the things I needed to confront my authentic self.
Mm.
I was still trying to play the ego, trying to play that persona, trying to play the role as, oh my, I'm really not that bad. I'm not really doing this for this.
Yeah.
And I knew if I sat down and genuinely had an honest conversation with myself, I I wouldn't be able to get out of the hole that I've already put myself in. So instead of sitting here trying to get out that hole, I just get the shovel and keep digging deeper. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Just keep digging deeper so I don't have to confront the person that I know I need to confront and talk to.
Yeah.
And, but for everybody that's listening, for everybody that's out there,
Mm.
that quote hits because until you confront that person and you guys have that conversation to understand there's aspects of the ego, there's aspects of who you are, there's aspects of your spirit, your soul, that higher being, it's all compiled of you. And until you sit down and you start understanding of who you are as a person and what is your moral character, what do you stand for,
Mm.
what do you want in life, what do you want to get out of life, and where do you want to go. And once you find out those things, and if we've done certain things or you've seen certain things, and if you need to forgive yourself, forgive yourself. Understand some things are going to happen to us that we didn't purposely do, but we have to let go of what happened. We have to understand that it's not what has happened to us, it's how we react to it, it's what we
Mm.
do after. You know what I'm saying? It's
Mm.
who we surround ourselves with. All of those factors play a part. And when you really sit down and you can take the time to be proud of who you are and understand some of the things you did weren't right, but it's okay because we're human, we make mistakes. And
Mm.
every day we wake up, we have the opportunity to do something better for ourselves than we did the day before.
Mm.
And that's what it's about, realizing. Carl Jung used talks about it, doing that shadow work. That shadow work is critical to
Mm.
really understand, why the ego did some of those things, why you chose to um, do something that was more based off of pleasure than it was kindness. Why you took advantage of a situation instead of help someone else. Like we know why we do what we do,
Mm.
but we need to start taking that time prior to doing it to actually sit down and think about it and ask those simple questions. If what I'm thinking of doing now, if someone did it to me, how would I feel?
Mm.
Would I like it? Would I understand what's happening? Would I be cool with it? And your gut is gonna tell you that. You know what I'm saying? We know right from wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We know, even though we're in. Yeah, I understand. Good, bad, right, wrong, success, failure. To me, they're all processes. But while you go through those processes, you know how that feels for you when it happens,
Mm.
and that to me will tell you if that's something that's good or positive that you should do or say, or something that's negative, right?
Mm.
I can't tell you what's good or bad or positive because you have your own perception and your own reality. But I know what is for myself,
Mm.
and I can advocate for myself, and I can make the decision based off of that. And then through conversations like me and you, I can now ask you, based off of this situation, what would you think it is, and that, and that's how we get a better understanding of ourselves, the people we have around us, as well as the environment.
Yeah.
Because our environment does have a impact on how we do move, react, think, you know.
Hmm.
So it's
I want to take it back a little bit, and I wanted to mention something that it's also very powerful that it took me a little while to understand. And you earlier you were talking about, or we were both talking about allowing ourselves to play a character that doesn't feel right deep down inside, that takes us from our true selves, in order to, please the surroundings, the environment, or their friends, whatever. And within that, there's a valuable lesson that I really oversaw until recently, which is this idea that we have the ability to become anyone or anything that we want to become, even if we don't want to become that thing. With We have the ability to become that exact thing that we don't want to be, right? And the same sense that people that are struggling on losing weight, right? And they say, "Oh, I can't do that," because I used to be one of those people. Oh, no, there's no way I'll never have abs because it never, you know what I'm saying? The idea that I have that I don't have the dedication, the work ethic, whatever it is to achieve abs, um, bec- that is incorrect, simply knowing the fact that in my life I have done things that I didn't enjoy to become something I didn't enjoy at all. So if I can do that, why can I do these things I don't quote unquote enjoy right now to become this thing that I want to be, which is healthy, feel better, right? Because the abs, although are aesthetically pleasing, that isn't the goal for abs. Is the fact that you are able to move the way you move when you have abs. You are able to do things and lift things and not feel tired or out of breath, and you are able to climb and do amazing wonderful things, because this body of ours is capable of so much if we treat it right, right? And that's the idea of why I'm choosing that. And so the lesson that I'm trying to say here for anybody that's listening is that if you think that you can't because that road is too tough, that is exactly why you can, and probably that's exactly why you should, right? The hard things is really truly what makes our these experiences that much more worth it. Knowing that the come up story, that zero to hero, that that's, we literally live and breathe that. We go to the movies for that, we read books for that, we play video games for that, but we forget that we can live it, truly live it ourselves. We all go through shit, we all go through dark times, but we have the power to do the hard things, to overcome it, to learn the lessons, to be better, to transcend. And all of this is through the elevated wisdom that we gather through our experiences. And this is why we wrote these books. And this is why we continue to have these conversations and build these platforms and these communities for all of us to have these conversations and encouraging one another to be the best version of ourselves, however that may seem. That was
no, I would agree 100%, man. Like we can change anything in our life any moment we want. That's choice. That's why we always say, happiness is a choice.
it really
Discipline is
is.
a choice. Dedication is a choice. Fear is a choice. Anxiety is a choice. All those things. But you won't understand that choice until you do the shadow work, until you go inside yourself
Mm.
and talk to that adolescent or that child and speak to that other version of yourself and that ego and kind of hash it out. You won't understand until you have those conversations, until you accept, where you are, what has happened.
Mm.
And once you go through all those levels of self-awareness and you continue to stay dedicated to some of the things that affirmations or whatever it may be, the belief comes. And once you get the belief and once you get the emotion and that feeling, and it's game over from there because any and everything is possible.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a feeling like no other. Because I'm not looking for someone to save me. I'm not looking for anything to help me.
Mm.
I now know that it's all within my control.
Very much so.
And that is so empowering, it's so satisfying, it's so gratifying. For me, that's what I want to help and get people to fully understand. Like it's not going to be easy, and sometimes it takes longer than others, but we all have the same capability. We all have the power to change it.
Mm.
It's all within us, you know.
Very true. And that's the thing too is the idea of being okay with whatever it is that you are, and that is well. Everybody else being okay with somebody choosing to not be okay, right? Because that was very hard to accept as well for somebody that likes to help other people. It ate me up inside to not reach those people that were not ready to heal. I took it personally when I couldn't help those that did not want to help themselves. And, now, although difficult and emotionally hard to watch somebody go through hard lessons in life, I now realize that that is a very necessary thing. And sometimes I wouldn't have not learned some of the lessons until I went through the experience myself. And so, with that, making sure I am the best version of myself so then I can be there and supportive, the best supportive or support when you're at your worst, right? And usually that happens after you go through a hard lesson, a hard experience. You are broken down. Now, if we're both broken down, how the hell are we gonna, get up from this? But if I'm okay, if I learned a lesson, if I learned something and changed that, I am able to live it and show you by example on the things that I've implemented to change, and therefore you can learn your own ways and figure out your own way how to maneuver it. But the best thing, like you said earlier, it's seeing the the evidence that it's possible. I can get better. I can get through this. Seeing that is that light at the end of the tunnel. That last breath that you get, and you're like, okay, maybe fuck it. Maybe if I try one more time, I can do it. And usually that's when it happens. It really does.
It is, man. It's you know, and you can't avoid it. The suffering is part of the experience. So if you want things to change but not go through that, then ain't shit gonna change for you. That's just the reality of it.
Yeah.
The suffering is just part of the of that understanding experience to get to the the other version of you or the other side of whatever it is you're trying to figure out.
Mm.
Um, yeah, it's something that's unavoidable, but it's extremely necessary.
Indeed.
Um,
Yeah, man. It's
but yeah, man, I appreciate you sharing some of those personal experiences and letting everybody know that even though, you know, you're here and I am here, we're both still works in progress.
mm.
You know, there's days that I do struggle with certain things, but what I'm really starting to understand um, is there's nothing in the human experience that is that important
Mm.
for you to take everything personal, you know?
Yeah.
Like the lessons we get are lessons that are supposed to be, I would say, looked at objectively, as if it's like third person, you know, your out of body experience and you're looking at what's happened. So logically you can, but what happens for most of us when the experience happens, we're actually in it.
Mm.
So instead of viewing the experience, we internalize it and make it personal.
Mm-hmm.
And once you make it personal, now there's emotions attached to it. And now it's more like the victim, or we need somebody to say why it went wrong
Mm.
instead of just accepting that experience and the lesson in the process that we're supposed to be doing. Like, oh, okay, I see I did this. It's, it's kind of like the best way to explain it if you're trying to put together like a model car or Legos, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have the instructions, but if you miss a step, what happens? You're not going to get the finished product the way
Mm.
it's supposed to. And that's typically what we end up doing. We miss the step, but instead of going back to look at the manual or the instructions, we get pissed off and don't want to do this anymore. You know, you kick it off like, yeah, it's because the box wasn't this or this square, the circle on it is off
Yeah.
3 centimeters. And it's like, no, bro, no, it's not. It's okay. It's because you don't want to read the instructions and you want to just put together shit like you know how it's supposed to go. And we don't know.
Yeah.
That's why life we have all these experiences to gain that understanding. And if you're not taking time, again, the main point of today's talk is if you're not taking time to understand yourself, you will never be in a good position to understand other people and where you fit in the big process of it all.
Mm.
Because we're all connected, we're all part of the source, we're all here doing the same thing, having a human experience,
Mm.
but we are not the experience.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Most definitely.
We're having the experience, but we aren't the experience. You are not this body. You are not what just happened to you.
Mm-hmm.
So we can take ourselves out and not internalize and make it personal, we're going to be in a better position to have those conversations, not only with ourselves first, but we'll be able to do it with other people.
Mm.
We'll be able to have empathy. We're going to have some compassion. We're going to have understanding. We're going to have patience. And honestly, for certain ones, we're going to be able to have humility and we're going to be able to laugh at ourselves, man.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing. I'm very impressed of how socially we have attacked comedy in such a vicious way when that's what we need more than anything to relieve to combat this whole thing of depression. More and more people are, doing horrible things to themselves because they can't find a reason to laugh, smile anymore. And we're attacking those people that are doing that exact thing. Why? Because you don't think it's funny? Don't laugh. Don't watch it. Don't like like that is that the to be able to laugh at the most unlaughable things is such a superpower to me. To be able to not take certain things so damn serious all the
Well, they,
time. It's such a beautiful thing to let go, right? Stress, seriousness. It feels like every your muscles are just tight. Laughter feels like you're just letting go and breathing for a second. We understand it's a serious topic. We understand that people hurt and all these other things, but
yeah.
can we at least see the yin yang of life, the duality of the fact that although it's all these horrible things, that something good come out of it. At the very least, a laugh. It costs nothing. It truly does cost nothing. But that's a whole nother topic for
Oh no, no,
another
I was
day.
gonna say the reason comedy it is stressful is because again those people are now making it personal when the joke wasn't about you individually, it was just to categorize in a group, but you're making it personal when it is not, and at the end of the day most jokes are funny because it is true. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what? You're right. That I did do that. Oh, you're right. I have been around different ethnic groups. They do that. Oh, you're right. This happened to me because my mom. Oh, so there's relatability. There's understanding.
Yeah.
But for me, I would say, and this is my opinion. So whoever's out there, this is my opinion. Nobody else's. The people that do get upset, especially at the comedy shows, I don't believe they fully accepted who they are.
Mm.
Therefore, regardless of what someone says, if you truly are happy and believe that's who you are wholeheartedly, doesn't matter what anybody says.
Mm.
You wear that shit proud.
Yeah.
You right. This is me. I owned it. This is who I am. This is what I do. This is what I like. So what? And you know what? You will be able to joke because you know it's not personal. It's
Exactly.
not. He's there to make everybody laugh, and everybody there is not you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't be in a position to not take it personal or to specifically be there to cause a scene to make it about you personally because people do that too.
Mm-hmm.
I already know they're going to talk about this, so I'm going to be the one. I'm going to get the shine time. I'm going to make it personal about
Yeah.
me. And it's like, well, nobody paid to see you.
Yeah.
We're here to see the comedian, not somebody that knew they were going to probably ain't
Will be
even
picked
upset.
on.
They just going to appear to be upset. You know what I'm saying? So,
Bro, that to me it's almost as equivalent as dealing with somebody upset in Hawaii at the beach, right? Like, bro, you're in paradise. I get it that you got sand between your butt cheeks. I get the fact that it's you got sand between your toes and there's sand in your new shoes and all that shit. But you're in paradise. What were you expecting? Like you don't go to the beach and not expect to get wet or have sand somewhere. Like that's if you go to and that's the other thing too is that and I think it relates to what we're talking about, awareness, self-awareness, right? Putting yourself in certain places or avoiding certain places and experiences because you know yourself that that isn't me. I'm not gonna let somebody joke about my weight because that's gonna help make me internalize myself, and I'm gonna probably eat my feelings away for the next 3 months, and then I'm gonna feel even worse. So maybe I should stay away from the comedian that makes fat jokes, right? Rather than going there and saying, "Well, you should respect fat people." Like, whoa, wait a minute, hold up. Like we have that power to say, I'm not going to participate. I don't. think you're right. I don't think you're true. I don't think you're funny. Let it go. Look at the other way. There's plenty of other things. But and that also is the portion of what creates our society here is this idea of everybody needing or having the need to be heard right. More importantly, felt this idea of what special, right? And what special means, people's attentions, people liking you, people respecting you, people doing things for you for free, or you know what I'm saying, like just expectancy that we have towards whatever it is that from those external
I
things.
was I would say too, I think as humans, we also want to be, I think we overcomplicate life by putting, I have to be great. Greatness has to be this. And
Mm,
it's like,
mm,
not necessarily. Greatness could just be existing and raising a beautiful family. That's
mm,
greatness.
mm,
It could just be being alone, but you're a painter. You know, like greatness is really at the end of the day embodying who you are, your
mm,
higher, your actual soul, your higher being. Greatness would be achieving that. Greatness would be accepting who you are, loving every fiber of your body, no matter what you do, and appreciating this experience, the human experience, you
mm.
know?
Most definitely. Most definitely. Yeah. The
So,
Go ahead.
you know, you good?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, no.
I know
You
you said you
finished.
had to get off, so
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I got a few more minutes. We're definitely on some great topics here. The For me, the one thing that also hits home in the realm of this conversation is the understanding of I am not the perception that people have of me, right? In the sense of there are, and not to toot my own horn, because I know I have encountered countless of people through my life. There are, and I now realize, countless of perceptions, different perceptions of people, whether the level of kindness that I am, the level of assholeness, the level of bravery or coward, and this and that. They're like just this variety of things, and this idea that I'm none of those, yet I am all of those. And what that means for me is that each and every day I get to choose what version of those I want to be from the moment I wake up. And it requires steps for me to play that character that day, right? And that means I can be an asshole that day, and that means I'm gonna wake up and not do my positive affirmations and hate my life because of my chronic pain and my injuries, and how I feel like the government's out to screw me, and the aliens are out there to probe my anus, and there's this and that, and you know what I'm saying? Like I'm just like any little inconvenience in my life, I'm just gonna snap and be that character that day. And then the next day I'm gonna practice my meditation and be in the Zen mode and preach to people on how beautiful life is. And like it's just is that easy and that amazing that we can choose happiness, however that means to you. And so I appreciate you coining that term, because it continues to remind me that a lot of things, it is a choice. We get to choose, and even in the harshest of elements and topics, I choose to be happy, and I choose to laugh and smile and things. And I appreciate the people that I can be myself with, and you're one of those, right? I can make jokes about pretty much anything, and Even if you don't find them funny, you'd be like, huh, okay, bro. You know, and we just keep on going. There is no, dude, you're
Yeah.
this, and dude, you're that, and oh, how dare you talk about such. There's none of that. Like, okay, you find that funny, cool. You got that out, cool. You got your laughs, cool. Let's keep on moving. Next, you know what I'm saying? Like that's it. And so that is an amazing experience. It's great to have a healthy relationship, friendship that can facilitate how to learn to communicate between people, and this what this experience continues to be for me, having conversations with you, brother, and I'm very appreciative of that.
No, me too, man. Like I don't know if people listen and realize, but these conversations, they are for me is similar to a therapy session.
Most definitely.
Talking through my thoughts, re-talking about things, which kind of like watching a movie.
Mm.
Every time you watch that movie, you get better understanding or clarity on what's actually happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see that the first go around, but by the third or fourth, there's things you've seen in the movie that you never saw before.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same thing when you talk to someone about yourself and you talk to them and you continue to talk, but as you talk, the situations will be different, but how you react and your emotional response to it doesn't change too much.
Mm.
And that's where you really start that understanding because now you can go back and be like, well, if this is the same, what is causing this? Like, why do I feel like this? And it's kind of like today, I caught myself, and that was the first time I truly was honest and was like, damn, I'm getting, I'm hating on somebody, but it isn't them. It's the fact that they're doing something that I should be doing, but I don't
Mm.
have the balls to fucking do it.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
instead of being upset and shit, to congratulate, and maybe, just maybe, I can learn something. And if I'm that angry, then maybe turn that frustration into confidence for me to do it myself.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
because again, it's a choice. Why haven't I done it? Is probably more fear. It's something in me saying people don't want to listen to me. Like, I don't have much to say. I don't, where in reality, I have just as much as anybody else. I have the opportunity is there.
Mm.
If I believe in what I'm saying, what wholeheartedly, I'm being authentic and honest. That's all I can ever do. And those that appreciate the authenticity and what the actual conversation and topics are will be here to listen. And there won't be any judgment,
Yeah.
you know? And that's the part um, that I'm still working through on my own self of shedding those insecurities, that fear of I'm not good enough or no one wants to listen to me,
Mm.
you know?
Yeah.
And so that was cool today because I actually caught myself and I not only caught it, I could go back to why and pinpoint specifically
Mm.
and realize it's just an old habit still trying to linger and hang on to be relevant in a life that they no longer exist in because I don't vibrate and operate that way anymore. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
it it's kind of like remember in Tron when the old girl like lost her arm and then he had to go in and he pulled out like the coating that was bad and then like it was like a butterfly that flew out and then her arm grew back.
Yeah.
That's kind of like what I feel I'm doing now, but it's like thoughts in my brain. I'm reprogramming and recoding how I think and feel about myself. So it's like now I have a visual on what is actually happening inside, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of definitely where I'm at and how I feel things are going for me at this point. So
That is a great analogy, my friend. That is an amazing analogy now that we have more computer, vocabulary out there. the idea, because that is what our brain is, really truly an absolute,
Yeah.
powerful computer. And the fact that you put it that way, it can make total sense to so many people out there. We have to recode this brain to create their reality, because that's what truly is creates our thoughts, then creates what we see, we creates what we feel, and it begins there. And so I'm glad you just said it this way. I'm glad that you said it today, and we're here doing what we do best, and that is being our authentic selves. It's important. So I appreciate it, and I encourage everybody out there to have these conversations, and not to be afraid, pulling somebody and say, hey, what do you think about this? And just really truly listen to their opinion without needing to interject or correct, or and once asked your opinion, then share your opinion. But really truly appreciate what somebody's perception it could be or is. So in turn, it helps, at least for me, in a way humble myself to remind me of, well, my perception is just one perception of many into this vast world that we have. And so, yeah, man, it's definitely a cool thing. I do have to get going, but I wanted to finish those thoughts. And I wanted to say thank you to everybody who's coming through today. Please continue on to remind yourself how amazing you truly are. And if you ever need a reminder, come on by Intoxicated DJ and Manan Affiliates. Got you. We always do. Manan Affiliates YouTube is blowing up. It's growing, and I am very proud of my boy Ahmad here for putting in the work daily to for all of you guys, for and but more importantly for himself and myself, reminders of these amazing positive affirmations, positive thoughts, positive ideas, conversations that we've had throughout human history. They're placed into shorts, small videos, and you can simply go in a day, listen to it on your way to work, or listen to it on at the end of the day, and it will help you. It will truly help you change the way you view things, if this is what you need. If you're already completely happy and everything is freaking peachy, it's gonna help you remember how amazing life and peachy it is. It's just gonna it plays around with that tune. So no matter where you find yourself in life, what is being said, what is being shared, it will match that energy. And so I highly encourage everybody to go check out Manan Affiliates on YouTube and on Instagram. We everywhere, baby. We everywhere. You know
I,
what I
I
mean?
really, I really appreciate the shout out, man.
Indeed,
I'm
indeed.
just, I'm just, I'm just putting out things that resonate with me, and that kind of. I don't have anything pre-scripted. It's just whatever hits that day or idea I have. I try and put something together. So
That's it. That's it. As a matter of fact, you know what? We should do. I'm gonna hold on. Let's see. YouTube. I'm gonna put the YouTube link here so people can get it. Um, Let me see. Manan affiliates. Biome. Copy. We go here. Yeah, if anybody out there, you're trying to get a little bit, go check out the YouTube. It's putting it on the chat. I'm gonna
I
put it
see
on
it. I
all the.
see it. So if you have not
Uh,
subscribed, please do.
yeah, putting it on. We putting it on the Twitch. We putting it on Kick. We putting on Beam Stream. Well, we got it on YouTube as well. So that's where we are currently streaming out. We're multi streamers here. We This Friday we'll be doing continuing our Elevated Wisdom podcast. Definitely continue on the great vibes throughout this week. Myself, Intoxicated DJ, gonna have figuring out the schedule a little bit better now. since there's quite a bit of things in life popping, but a lot of great things. So I will be posting that up next. But for sure, Ahmad and I will be back Friday, right, bud?
Oh yeah.
Yep, cool, cool, cool. So Friday it is, fam. Any last words, brother?
Um. Uh, just live the 3 L's, man.
And what are those?
I got you. So
They.
the three L's is something we came up with. It's lead with love, take time to laugh, which we hit that today. Laughter is important, and never stop learning.
Mm,
And the never stop learning is critical because you really never stop learning about yourself. And if you never stop learning about yourself, you'll start learning more about other people, and then you'll learn more about the reality or the environment you're in, and always pick up a new skill or trade or continue to read books, just something to continue to broaden your mind and horizon, you
mm,
know. We don't want black and white thinking. We want you to be open to endless and unlimited possibilities for yourself and where you can actually fit in. So,
mm.
but
Beautiful.
those are the 3 L's.
Beautiful three L's.
Lead with
Appreciate it.
love, take time to laugh, and never
Never
stop
stop
learning.
learning. And all three are critical. That's why they're three. Most critical three. Trifecta, baby. Triangular up in this hoe.
Everything, Tesla's thing, 369, right? Everything starts with three.
Indeed.
So,
That's gonna be part of the next conversation. But thank you everybody for being here and doing what you do best and participating. We got Dislick in the house, Lurk, Mama Tina Gaming, NCR, Snip and Hammer, Anime Freak. All you guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And we will be, you know what? I think we're gonna be hosting out here to uh, Snippin' when we find her. Yeah. Oh wait, she gone, but maybe still gonna raid. If we works or maybe not. We will see. But alright, y'all. We out of here.
Thank you for joining us and have a good night. Lead with love, take time to laugh, and never stop learning. Thank you for joining us and have a good night. Lead with love, take time to laugh, and never stop learning. Thank you for joining us and have a good night. Lead with love, take time to laugh, and never stop learning.